Hey, what's going on? I'm Keith here at Sports Vibes TV, and this is another edition of the Knicks Syndicate pregame show. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host George from Into the Knicks Verse. George, how's everything with you?
That's excellent, man. Today, hate to rub it in. I don't know what it's like in New York, but I just went for a walk and it was just absolutely glorious. I'm in a t-shirt, just strolling down, seeing pretty girls in short skirts. It's 78 degrees, clear skies. It's unbelievable right now.
Yeah, you can't tease us New Yorkers because I left this morning, went outside to go to work. I went out in a hoodie and a trench coat, and I came back in just a t-shirt. So it was a nice day out there.
Yeah, nice.
It was a nice day. It got too hot even in my own car, and gas is kind of up there, so I didn't want to turn the AC on. So ended up in the whip with the windows down and a t-shirt on. So it was a nice day. I think it got up to the 70s, and we've been dealing with 40s. Yeah, so 40s to the 70s, it feels like it's 90 out there.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I know how the brutal winters are there, though, man. I remember I used to live in New York and actually work in Paramus, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Walking up Route 17 during snowstorms from the bus after the bus dropped me off. That was terrible, man.
The winters haven't been as bad as I remember growing up, but still, shoveling is a pain.
Yeah. I think it's like you suffer 2 or 3 brutal winters in a row. That's when you start thinking about moving to LA. I have a lot of friends who moved to LA.
And then you start researching earthquakes, and you're like, negative.
Hey, earthquakes, they happen.
Yeah, San Andreas Fault. I'm like, that's a little too risky for me.
Hey, there's a fault under Manhattan.
Oh, yeah. What do they say? Manhattan's built on a landfill or something, they said?
Yeah, but
artificial island?
The bedrock is just unbelievable in New York. It's just so solid. But salute to the chat. Hey, Jesse, what's up, brother?
Salute to Jesse.
Tricky Nicky. Let's talk Knicks. Salute to you. John Talento. What's up, brother? We surveyed 100 people.
Talento.
We got the main crew here. Awesome.
We surveyed 100 people, hit us with the lineup before we even got on. So thank you for holding it down. We appreciate it.
Absolutely on fire there.
Nudie 25 is crazy. He said, and they were wilding in City Island. Summer is coming. I definitely saw that clip that went viral. People were back to throwing chairs at City Island,
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I never spent much time in City Island, though.
Me neither, honestly. It's one way in, one way out. It's usually full of traffic. And I think the one time I did go with an ex, I ended up with a flat tire and scarred since.
Oh, yeah. Flats will scar you.
Facts. So we wanted to start it off light before we got into some of the hot and heavy topics.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Kenny Payne. He'll be leaving the club. This is the second year in a row we'll have an assistant leave the club midway through the season. Last year it was Mike Woodson heading over to Indiana, and this year it'll be Kenny Payne going over to Louisville. So how do you feel about this move?
About Kenny Payne moving on? I mean, I think you got to be incredibly happy for him. I mean, it's a dream job. He's obviously a beloved coach, expert with the big men, has a long history of turning, bigs, Kentucky Wildcat bigs into all-stars. So, he's, I think Louisville's they're lucky. They got like the right guy at the right time. Maybe in the past he wasn't ready to be a head coach, but it looks like now he is. I'm happy for him. Ian Begley just tweeted out that Tom Thibodeau says that New York Knicks assistant coach Darren Erman will move up to the front of the bench with Kenny Payne in Louisville. So he's taking Kenny Payne's spot. So the way the tweet was written, it sounds like he's going to Louisville to move up the bench. But gotta watch out, Ian.
Yeah, you gotta watch how you word things.
Watch out how you word it, man. Yeah, so that's good.
If we don't know better,
and I believe he's the guy. Is he the guy that Julius lovingly tapped his laptop?
I'm not sure, honestly. That guy was just I think a video coordinator they mentioned.
Yeah, but I think that's what. I think it might have been that guy. I'll have to look it up. Hey, we got Big Task in the house. What's up, Big Task? Sincere the genius.
All right. Dealing with some StreamYard gremlins. It's not allowing me to put any slides up, so we'll just rock out.
Yeah,
just say salute to Kenny Payne.
Salute to Kenny Payne. I'm happy for him. I think it's good. I mean, look, but and then Woodson went for his dream job back to his alma mater. It's like, come be an assistant in the Knicks and get a job at your alma mater 1 year
And
later.
this is good. I think what makes me really excited for Kenny Payne is the fact that he's been an assistant for so long and he's been looked over at other positions in college basketball. So for him now to get the opportunity to be a head coach at a place where he has a lot of history, I think that's going to be dope for him. And also, hey, we know Tom Thibodeau is going to be here for next season. That's already been reported, but we don't know how that coaching staff is going to look, even further. So the fact that Kenny Payne is now going to get a big raise and he's going to get some more stability over there to actually run his program the way he sees fit. So you just got to be happy for that guy. And I'm happy for him, proud of him, and hopefully he can continue to maybe even feed us some information. Maybe if there's a player at Louisville, let us know. Hey, there's a guy coming in the draft.
Yeah, you mean like when Rick Pitino fed us information about Donovan Mitchell?
Oh man,
he begged us to draft him. Yeah, like we got to listen to the inside information. That's the thing.
That's why I was happy initially with the fact that Mike Woodson was going to Indiana. It's nice to have those type of connections down in college. So when you are at the draft and you're picking between two prospects, if you have a little bit more information on one, maybe you can feel a little bit more confident about the selection.
Yeah. So I was looking at some numbers while you're doing this stuff. I was just like, sometimes we get a little too bogged down trying to find out why things have gone wrong or what's really at the core for why the team isn't playing well. And we look at different things. Oh, defense. Oh, Fournier, Kemba Walker, Burks is out of position. No Nerlens. Mitch, it took him a while to get up to speed, which is normal. All these different issues, and then we all know that Julius is at the center of it all for us, because of the usage rate and the role he plays on this team. This is a guy who this season his usage rate is 28.6%, and last season was at around 30%. So it's a tick down, but it's still really high. But when you look at his numbers last year compared to this year, the efficiency numbers is all that I'm really thinking about. His numbers compared to league averages, just league averages, are pretty. They're pretty sad. They're pretty sad, and it makes you wonder, why hasn't he adjusted? Like, I can just keep doing it, thinking, oh, I'm going to shoot this 17-footer. It's going to drop this time, even though all season it's only connected 34% of the time. Now, last season it connected almost 40% of the time. So he's down 6% from that range. That's a lot. 6% for the guy who's taking the majority of your shots on your team. The 10 to 16-footer. Last year he shot at about almost 42%. This year he's at 38%. So that one's not so drastic a drop, but every bit hurts. From 3 to 10 feet, the short mid-range, he was at 39.5% or so last year. This year that's the one side he's closer. It's within like 2% of what he did last year. Now at the rim, last year he was 65%. This year he's at 63%. So down 2% at the rim. Those are close. But when you compare it to league averages, this year, the league average at the rim is 68.2%. Julius is at 63.4%. That's almost a 5% difference just from the league average. That's not even like comparing him to, the best around in the game. That's just his league average. That's pretty shocking to me. I don't know what's your feeling about that, man?
I mean, watching it, you knew he was struggling from those areas on the court, and I think a lot of it has just been, like you said, poor shot selection, him relying too much on that ISO, and you question as to why he keeps taking those shots is because last season they were falling for him.
Yeah, they were, but even last year, when you compare it to the league averages, yeah, last year was at 65%. The league average was 67.5% at the rim. So it's kind of close. And we saying, oh, we hope that his rim percentage was trending downward from when he was at New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, we want to, hey, if he can lift that up, hold the 3-point percentage. Now, we all know he cratered in 3-point shot. I mean, his 3-point shot last season was 41.1%. Fantastic. This year, it's at 31.3%. So it's almost a 10% drop there. And that's a killer. But that one aside, even all the other numbers where he should technically be feasting as one of the top power forwards in the game, he's not even at league average.
Now, is this for the entire season? Because
the entire season.
Well, we know he struggled to start the season, but he's definitely come along in the last 10, 15 games. I would like to see how those numbers would look over that span to see if he but we would assume he's trending in the right direction.
You ask,
and you shall deliver.
I shall deliver. Let's see.
All right.
Let's see. Let me pull up. Yeah, man. How's everything on your end now?
Still, it looks like I would have to close Chrome and jump back in.
Okay. So we're gonna go offline for a minute.
Well, I mean, it depends. It's just a couple slides, so nothing crazy.
Okay.
I'm waiting for my stats, George. You don't have them?
Okay, I'm pulling them up here.
Oh.
So from which period do you want to begin?
Well, let me know what brackets you have, and then we'll start from there. You have 10 games, 15 games, and
you know what? Let's do
last 10 round number.
I'm going to Basketball Reference. Okay, last 10. All right.
Nice even number.
Yeah.
So you think, even though a lot of us think, it's Tibbs that might be the issue, you think it really stems from Julius Randle and his inefficiency as a primary scorer?
Yeah. All right. Now here's just the basic numbers to compare. Okay. So in this past 10 games, I think that coincides with the post All-Star break. So the Knicks have been playing better, and quote, so has Julius. And he's been averaging 24 points per game during that stretch. That's, nice numbers. Even though his rebounds are down to 8.1 per game, which I find very interesting that they dropped so low. His assists are still up there, robust, a nice 5. 5 is nice.
Mm-hmm.
His overall field goal percentage during that period is 40.5%. The league average is 45.9%, almost 40. So he's almost 6% below the league average. His 3-point shooting, that actually is done a little better. He's at 35.2%. The league average for the whole season this year is 35.1%. So he's actually at league average. So remember, he was below. He was like around 24%. Remember that for a big, long stretch?
Tough stretch.
Yeah. So the 3-point shot is what's actually
unlocking him.
Yes, unlocking him. To some extent. That's where it's come from, but not his 2-point efficiency, not the mid-range game. It's not there. That's not what's giving us these numbers.
His mid-range has been somewhat non-existent throughout the season, but we do see him. Yeah, I mean,
he loves
it. If he's open, it's those contested ones, the ones where he's moving. But it's hard to get too upset because we've seen him make those last season, and now they're not falling. And I think I'm more upset not with him taking that style of shot. I think it's him taking it within the flow of the offense. Like it's at times where the ball hasn't moved, offense has been stagnant, and then he's chucking up that shot. If he's chucking up that shot because, you know, it was within a play design and he's supposed to be flowing to that side of the court and he puts up a shot and misses it, you know, that I'll live with. But it's the poor shot selection. And, you know, when this offense is stagnant, at least, you know, in the last game, we saw the ball move, and I love that type of offense from this team. To see us move the rock the way we did against the Trailblazers, I think that's something we should try and take that film and try to replicate it. Because I think if we do that, you might not see Julius Randle and those inefficient numbers, especially in the mid-range and especially finishing at around the rim.
The thing is, though, like we saw in the last game, remember, he got off to a terrible start. He finally finished with 20, but it came off just inefficient play calling. ISOs, looking RJ off, you know, not giving the ball back to IQ, you know, kind of holding it to one side until finally, he gets it cleared out and he has an ISO thing, and then they double him, and then, you know, he had that one nice dunk, but that was it. I mean, it's just bad play. It's just bad play. If he was to play like that in a street game, they'd be like, yo,
gotta get a rock up.
Yeah, give it up. You know.
But then my counsel to you is how are we going to move forward with a coach that can't get our best player to play the right brand of basketball? Though that's why, to me, it still falls back on Tibbs, because we've seen Julius Randle knock down those shots. We've seen Julius Randle have a season like he did last year. I think a lot of it might be in his head also. And, you know, in that situation where you have to try and reel your guy back in, Tibbs has not been able to do that. You know, he's been doing the contrary. He's been an enabler. So that's why my viewpoint is that the issue is at Tibbs, because one, he's probably the most easy to move on from. And I would like to see another head coach come in and try to build this team with RJ as that, you know, that nucleus, you know, as opposed to Tibbs' system where he's trying to use Julius Randle as the guy, as the engine to get things going.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, the reality, you know, of what we see in the data says don't use Randle as your engine.
And then we have a coach that looks at those numbers and he keeps doing it. So to me, that's why I'm saying it starts from the top. It got to be Tibbs. I know, another coach might take the ball out of Julius Randle's hands, and he might be more efficient being a secondary, you know, playmaker or a secondary option on offense, as opposed to trying to be the motor. You know, if you can't be the motor, feel free to be the transmission, bro. Feel free to be the braking system. You know, everybody doesn't have to be, you know, we don't need to be a Bugatti Chiron. We don't need a W16. We're good with RJ running the show. And then Julius Randle, he does have the ability to make solid passes, and he can knock down shots and be a scorer. So I think he has a role on this team. And that's why
the just to push back on that part specifically, because you're right. I mean, that's how Tibbs looks at him, but he doesn't create that gravity as much anymore. Like
I think he still does. I
think he's not being double teamed.
Teams want him. Teams send the gravity towards him because they know he's going to do something dumb. I mean, he's going to mess up.
That when he's cooking, yes, but normally,
even when he's not cooking,
yeah. But now the strategy is don't double Julius. Just watch when you play against the better teams. The strategy becomes don't double Julius. It's not worth it, because then those times that he doesn't cough the ball up, he does find an open guy, and if guys like Fournier start clicking, which he's been insane. I tweeted that out today. Since he crushed the Celtics for 41 points, he is third best in the NBA in three-point shooting at 42.6%. We're talking about the high volume three-point shooters, the guy who attempt 5 or more per game. Luke Kennard was number 1, and Cam Johnson. Who,
you got to make sure you say the name correct, George.
Cam Johnson, who crushed him. Yeah, Kennard.
Kennard, yep.
Cam Johnson, who crushed Julius. You know, he was number 2. So Fournier's number 3. I mean, he's been phenomenal. So teams have adjusted. They're like, wait a second, you know, we don't need to double Julius. He'll still cough up the ball. He'll still make the wrong play. And even if he shoots it, let him shoot it. He's shooting 33% from 16 feet beyond. 10 feet, he's shooting 38%. It was like, let him. You know, I mean, so that's where the coach, you're right, has to adjust. Has to adjust and force him to play the right way. Thing is, will he? Will he ever? And look at this. Just to give you an example. We were just talking about the last 10 games where he was averaging 24 points per game. You think, wow, nice, right? His field goal percentage is 50. I mean, his field goal percentage is 45.4%. That is the league average is 52.9%. So league average is about 53%. He's at 54. He's at 45%, about 8% less during a hot streak of his. You can't win consistently in the NBA when your number one guy is that inefficient. It's just and just to give another weird stat. Ready? He's averaging for the season 46.6% field goal percentage. So during this past 10 games, he's lower.
Even worse.
Even though he's, quote, been hot.
So, well, before we get even further, I got a couple super chats I want to shout out. Our guy Jesse once again with a super chat. He says Obi needs a mid-range and Randle needs to get in the paint. Totally agree with you there, Jesse.
Absolutely.
And then we have one from Kenneth Hatcher. I apologize. He says, I hate when Randle and Quick look RJ off. Yeah, they do it. Randle more than Quick.
Yeah.
But it is somewhat frustrating. And it also makes you think about that tweet or that comment that RJ had when he was talking about the Grizzlies, saying they're happy for each other and things like that. So you do start to question when you see some of the actions out there on the court. Also, Quick never used to pass the ball to Cam when Cam was available too. I used to always get on my nerve.
Yeah,
used to just sit Cam in the corner.
I think he didn't want Cam to do well because it would have cost.
His
buddy Obi.
I didn't want to say it, but
he was protecting Obi's minutes, which is that's cool.
He might have been protecting his minutes. I know we got him running point, too. But
yeah, they're a little different. I think it was mostly Obi's minutes. Yeah,
Obi's his guy.
Yeah, Obi's his guy.
You're not about to eat when Obi's hurt, man.
Yeah. Exactly. And I kind of like respect that to some extent. I mean, if the games really meant something, I would have been pissed. I called this season a while ago. So, I mean, I know there's all this talk.
Oh, you threw the towel a while ago?
Oh, I threw the towel in.
All-Star game?
I threw the towel in, before the All-Star game. I threw the towel in before the All-Star. I'll tell you when I threw the towel in.
That's when we thought they were going to fire Tibbs.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like when Tibbs survived noon Monday, the day after the All-Star game, I was like, season's over. Because of the reasons we just talked about. There is this dysfunctional dynamic between Randle, Thibs, and the rest of the team. And the only way to work your way through it is for Thibs to actually do some real coaching and get Randle to play the right way. I mean, it's just I mean, it can. It's only talk until they do it, and it's frustrating.
And we know our coach is big on coach talk, on coach speak, as we say. But George, that brings me to my question: what are you looking for? What are you looking for from Tibbs as the season goes on to maybe change your opinion on who should be leading this team moving forward as the coach? What do you need to see from Tibbs if he's going to get your support moving on to next season?
This is it. How he redefines Randle's role on this team will be the key to if we begin next season. Tibbs is the coach, Randle at the 4, and RJ at the 3, and then we'll see about the rest because really those 3 are the most important things. I don't know what's going to happen with point guard. I don't know what's going to happen with the the off guard. The center position is up in the air because of Mitch with his contract. So there's a lot of question marks. And then, we also have a nice draft pick coming. But the way that dysfunctional situation has to be addressed, or else we're going to be back here a year from now talking about who's going to be the new coach, or they already fired them. They already fired them. So I think you froze, Keys. Or maybe I'm still talking. I can hear myself. I think Keys froze. So I mean that's going to be the key, how he redefines Randle's role, and I think that basically Randle has to just go back to being more of a traditional power forward. Don't worry about being the point forward at all. Don't ever initiate the offense. Just play off others. You can have a nice little two-man game like with Fournier because they've developed it. Keys is totally frozen. I could tell. Now I'm back. Hey, I don't even know how this is working. It's hilarious. Hey, okay, I'll move over here. Hey, I'll go over here. All right, here we go. We got a nice super chat from Parrish. Parrish says Randle's percentage is a little misleading because he misses the shot when fouled, and he's hitting free throws now. Yeah, you don't. When you miss a shot and you're fouled, you don't get credited for the shot attempt. So, yeah, that's how that goes. Jaden Ivy says, Jaden Ivy, hey, welcome in the chat, Jaden. Good. Hopefully you'll be in orange and blue next year. Thibs coaches for his resume. Randle plays for his points while our kids wait. Yeah, exactly. He had a sip of Kool-Aid. Geraldine says this season might be over. And with us keeping Thibs next season will be the same, I think. Oh, that's what I fear, man. Yeah. Yeah, I had 53 wins is what I had. Jesse, yeah. Vegas had us at 41. That was the over-under. So we'll see. I think Keith may have just restarted his computer, so we'll see. Interesting little setup we got going here. All right. Well, one thing that's great is Quentin Grimes is back. So that is something we've missed tremendously. Here's an interesting stat. Quentin, of all the non-bigs on the team, Quentin is number 1 in points scored per attempt. He's number 1. Fantastic. 116.3. The next closest is Fournier, 113.5. So it just shows you how much we've missed his shooting. Quentin and his defense been tremendous. Oh, wait. What's up? Oh, shit. Keith was calling in to his own live stream. What's up, Keith? Are you the stream? I think the stream is still going. Right now, the whole Mac shut down. Your whole Mac shut down? Yeah. I think the stream is still going though. I mean, I'm talking. What's funny is the Windows, it took my whole image and made it large, but the overlay's still there. So I'm moving from one side to the other. All right, I'm just see if I can log on quick enough to fix this shit. Oh, you know what? Let me log on the screen guard from something else, and I'm gonna put you full screen, and then let me jump back in. Okay. To answer Sincere to Genius's question, what's your offseason predictions with Mitch? I think he is. I mean, obviously, he's going to try to get as much money as he possibly can. I mean, no doubt. So that's why he doesn't want to tip his hand. He doesn't want to indicate whether he's willing to come back or not. That's why he says, that's to be determined. Talk to my agent and all that stuff. Yes, it is still live, Keith. All right. They can all hear you, by the way. Keith says hi. So it's hard to know exactly how it's going to go, but I would say I would predict that Mitch does return. I predict he does return. I don't know, Georgia. I think I'm leaning more towards that because I want him to return. But I think, all things being equal, I think the Knicks, they have the money to do it. no one's going to blow Mitch out of the water. No one's going to come in with a $20 million per year for him. He's too injury prone. There's too many unknowns. He doesn't have any go-to moves. He's going to be offered in that range at 12, 13, 14. At the highest I can see is someone maybe offering 15 million. It's like the highest. And I think if the Knicks say, you know what, we'll do a 2+1, 15 million or whatever, they match with they don't have any matching rights. They have to just basically negotiate. Especially when you look around the league, I mean, there aren't that many guys like Mitch in the league, so he's definitely someone I would definitely want to bring back. But you never know. You never know. Another good reason why they're giving Sims some time, because Sims, we need to see what Sims can do, and we're seeing that Sims can give us a lot of what Mitch can do, which is a phenomenal thing to have. But Sims also still doesn't have a go-to move. He doesn't really have even a short jumper. At least that he's shown us yet. Maybe he will. Maybe he'll develop that. I would rather find a home for Nerlens, trade him away, and then use that money, whatever we end up bringing back. Maybe we cut the guy or wherever we end up doing it, and use that money for Mitch, along with some other money. We're getting some super chats, Keith. Jesse, yes. George, you have any Jameson left? Knicks drove me to finish mine. Now, the JMO's gone. That was long gone. Actually, I just picked up some vodka. Do a little drinking during the game. And hopefully it'll be a great game.
What's going on here, my guy?
What?
How'd you pivot to drinking?
Jesse put a super chat to ask the question.
Okay, all right, makes sense.
Yeah. Joseph John, thank you so much for the contribution. Joseph asks, truly believe all the Knicks hate Thibs' offensive system, including Randle. Basketball is their lives. They know other systems exist that work better. I agree with everything except for the including Randle. That's the one thing. I think Randle actually likes it, because I think he thrived in it last season. It's still built around him now. Keith's return, thankfully.
Yes. I'm returning to my own stream. Thank you, George. You held it down admirably. I appreciate you, man.
No problem. You should go back and check. There's been some super chats. Yeah, but I've been answering all. Oh, here's one.
Yeah, I want to get into Mitch too. Yeah, this was when I got kicked out.
Parrish start. Yeah,
this one.
Yeah.
Randall's percentage is a little misleading because he misses the shot when fouled, and he's hitting free throws now. But when you get fouled, they don't count those They don't count those field goal attempts. No, right? Yeah.
Right. They don't. So he's saying he's even worse.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think that's what Parrish is.
Thank you.
Saying there. Yeah.
All right.
And he's right. I honestly, in my opinion, this team has severely underperformed this year. This is not a 29-40 team.
Mm-hmm.
Right. By any means of, there's no way it could be. We have a second-team All-NBAer returning who was an All-Star last season. We have one of the top 10 three-point shooters in the league who signed on, who's better three-point shooter in terms of volume and creativity than Bullock. Bullock was catch and shoot. Never did an off the dribble, so in terms of even though his finishing numbers actually were better than Fournier, the volume was just so way low. He barely ever even attempted a layup or anything like that. Once in a while. Of course, the point guard situation, definitely we took a big hit defensively. Huge hit. But RJ has become a better player all around, even though his three-point shooting percentages are down from last season. But all around in terms of his impact, there's respectable. But in terms of his impact, I think you're a little out of sync now.
Am I? Because you're a little out of sync on my end too. You're a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How in the chat? Can you guys tell us how it's looking on your end?
Yeah, chat. Help us out. Let us know.
We're having some Mac problems.
Yeah, right. Apple and streaming, not the way to go.
So Joseph John also had a super chat there.
Yeah.
I addressed it, but maybe you want to.
It says, truly believe all the Knicks hate Tibbs' offensive system, including Randle. Basketball is their lives. They know other systems exist that work better. I would disagree when it comes with Randle because I think Randle is the focal point of the offense. And I think that's something he would love. So if another coach were to come in, they might take the ball out of his hand, which is what I'm advocating for. So the other Knicks may not be too fun. Maybe Quick might like it as well because Quick, they're giving him the opportunity to play as a point guard. I think if you look at his long term,
we know Fournier doesn't.
Yeah, I don't think Fournier is a fan, but Quick might be a fan because if he can show he can play point guard, that would be more lucrative for him. But outside of those two, I don't. And Derrick Rose, I guess maybe because they're tied from their time in Chicago. But outside of those, I think the rest of the Knicks aren't too fond of this offense.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Jesse,
I agree. Geraldine had a comment right underneath that. Oh yeah, that's that one.
George, you have any Jameson?
It's all gone. All gone.
And you wanted to shout out Geraldine?
Yeah. This is for. I mean, because I was talking about it while you were off camera, but we both addressed this.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Geraldine. She got a shout out on Knicks Fan TV. So salute to her. I was tuned in and she got a nice shout out. So shout out to her. Let's see, George. But can the Knicks pay Mitch, RJ, and Cam? RJ and Cam are looking to sign their rookie extensions. I mean, we have the rights, so we can go over the luxury tax to
for RJ and
guys.
Cam.
Yeah, for RJ and Cam to keep them. Well, I mean, couldn't you do a little funny business? You sign Cam first, and then you go over the cap with RJ.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we can do it,
and we don't even have to do it now.
Yeah, we can sign Mitch this offseason. Even though I think that's going to be difficult. I was offline listening, and I know you said you think Mitch is going to resign, but I don't think it's too big of a guarantee.
No, I'm hoping. I'm hoping.
Okay.
I think if the numbers, if someone doesn't come in and blow him out of the water with an offer, I think he'd return to the Knicks. I mean, he's done fabulous here. I mean, he's complained about the offense structure. But he also hasn't brought much to the table, except for that one crossover move from the 3-point line, and he dunked it, which was a thing of beauty.
Mm-hmm.
He's only done that once.
Yeah, well, in fact, if you let him tell it, it's because the coaching staff doesn't want to allow him to, shoot in other areas on the court. They want him just to be a guy in the rim.
Yeah, but sometimes you got to take show the initiative.
Do we have a coach where you think he's going to reward guys that show the initiative and don't necessarily succeed on the first attempt?
I think Mitch could do it. I honestly believe Thibs absolutely loves Mitchell Robinson. I mean, I think he loves him. He doesn't need to.
I've heard
he never needs to call
stories.
A play for him. He never calls a play for him. He's one of the best rim protectors in the game. He can defend the perimeter. Can get back to the paint, cover that.
He doesn't set the best screens. He also is not the greatest in pick and roll defense. Yeah. So there are some things that you can say Tibbs will gravitate to, but then there are the other parts of his game where Tibbs might say, I'm not a big fan, especially with the maturity. We've seen him have some issues on social media. And I think, I don't know if Mitch might be in a position where he's like, all right, I want to spend more time under this coach. And that's another reason why I was kind of skeptical about Tibbs being, kept for another season, because I don't know if Mitch is going to want to play for him.
That's a big concern. He may just, if the offers are equal, maybe he does
he might
go
stay.
to.
He might think they're equal, but also look at the landscape. What other centers are available that you can say is a better option than Mitchell Robinson? I think that alone will mean demand is going to be up for Mitch. Yeah. Especially if he's going to continue to play like he's been playing recently, being dominant, rim protector, being solid on offensive rebounds and things like that. There might be a team like a Detroit that could swoop in and maybe offer him some type of package where he can say, all right, I'll move over to Detroit, and maybe the taxes are a little bit lower in Detroit, and he can be there, get his bag, and play with other young guys that are going to see, steps and progression in their career, like a Cade Cunningham.
Yeah. The one thing though that we haven't even talked about is the RJ factor. I mean, if I were an NBA player, I'd want to play with RJ next year. I mean, he's going to just keep getting better. He loves to play make. I wish he would do it more. Sometimes he does get a little bit too he makes a decision a little too early. He's like, I'm gonna shoot the shot no matter what. When there is a guy open out, in the wing or in the corner that he should probably feed. But the one guy he does feed is Mitch. I mean, there's probably more assists from RJ to Mitch than any other player.
I would think so. They have a pretty good connection.
Yeah. And they know he's going to be around. They know he's a solid guy. He's not going to flip out.
I mean, you say RJ, but I'm pretty sure if Mitch was in a room with the Detroit Pistons front office and they said, "Do you want to play with Cade?" He'd probably be open to that as well. That's a guy that's going to find him just as good, if not better, than RJ.
True.
And then they have the capital to draft someone else. So if they're able to bring in a Mitch, maybe they can use that and bring in a guy like, I don't know what, Ivy, you think? And then have those two and Mitch paired together. I think that's a nice young nucleus.
That would be for Detroit. I'm sure they got their fingers crossed to get Ivy.
Mm-hmm.
Ivy with Cade, that would probably be like the killer backcourt of the future.
Yep. And then they have the opportunity to bring in a Mitch to be that, that rim protector.
Yeah,
they could offer some decent cash because it's not like they have
the thing is, I don't know if Mitch thinks that way.
I think Mitch thinks I want as much money as I can get, and if the Pistons are that option, he's gonna go.
Right.
And if things are even, then maybe he might open it up to other people in his camp and say, "All right, break this down for me and let me know what you think."
I think the Knicks are hoping that the offers won't be anything crazy, and that if, like we were just saying, if things were equal, that he'd pick re-signing with the Knicks. That's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're thinking. They took that gamble. Also,
hopefully
and Mitch hasn't been playing with, other than Rose, and he never got to really play with Rose. Remember, he got hurt last season, like the day or two before Rose was traded to the team, and then when he came back, he got injured again. And so they never had.
Yep.
So he had to play with Elfrid Payton, and then this season,
Alex Burks,
Kemba Walker, who struggled. They had developed no chemistry, and then Alec Burks, who never feeds Mitch. I think he did last game once. It was a shocker. So imagine where they tell him, "Hey, look, we're going to get Brunson or whoever, and we want you. We're going to be featuring you in the offense, more than we have recently. Maybe he resigns with the Knicks in that respect. I mean, he's been thriving without even having a good point guard to play with."
And it's noted.
But I'm being hopeful. I think there's a very realistic chance that
he might be out of here.
That he might be out of here.
The fact that they couldn't agree to terms now, I think, is alarming, because we can give him 13.75 mil. So either the Knicks aren't willing to go that high, or Mitch thinks his value is much higher than the 13.75 mil. And I think if that's the scenario, then Mitch might be good as gone. Because if the Knicks don't value him as a $13.75 million center, I think he'll be able to get that on the open market. So that means we won't step into match. And when I say match, I mean offer the same amount and hope he picks it. And then, so we'll see where it goes.
The final note to this comment and this concern about signing guys, the salary cap is going to increase dramatically, I believe, after the 2025 season, 2025-26 season. So that's only 3 years from now. So that would be during the period of whatever contract any of these three sign. So it may be tight for a little while, but then it's going to expand tremendously. There'll be a lot of room. And plus, Dolan's rich. He can pay luxury tax. If we're winning, Dolan will pay a luxury tax. He'll do it.
He will. He pays luxury tax when we're not winning.
Exactly. Yeah. Sincere to Genius, he said, I think they lowballed Mitch. They probably did lowball, which is, but that's negotiation. That's how it goes.
First offer is never the best offer.
Yeah, exactly. I'm holding out that it'll work out.
Yeah, but even with the new contract, though, if I'm not mistaken, if we max RJ, that's going to be a percentage base. So that number is going to be tied to the cap. So if the cap goes up by 30 mil, RJ's contract will go up with the cap and match it at I think 25 or 30%.
Not the new, no. Once you sign you mean the next contract he signs?
Mm-hmm.
The next one, yeah, but not.
No, because I thought they're tied to how much. That's why they don't really know how the contracts are gonna really pay out, because it depends once the cap is set.
This is based off the new TV revenue contracts are going to be signed in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, around there.
But
which is also why that's part of the speculation of why Zion to Knicks can still happen, because there's going to be a lot more money available for them.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We got a super chat from Buzzer Beater. He says, "Why don't we run horns? We have the perfect squad." I believe he asked this as well because if he wanted us to go smaller and run Randle and Obi out there to run horns.
It's a great question. I mean, there's a lot of things we don't do.
He's stubborn. We don't run horns. We don't do any off-ball action. You don't see anything like that going on. Everybody just standing around waiting for one person to get penetration, and then we start to pass it around. But outside of that, if we don't get any penetration, there's no other plays to be called. And here and there, we're starting to implement more pick and rolls, especially with RJ. But outside of that, there's virtually no creativity to this offense.
Yeah. K. Bacher, he writes, Dolan has 60 years tax-free on MSG. Then he wrote, or was it 100 years? Yeah, they're
actually trying to get him to move. They're trying to get him to relocate. So he's probably going to get even more tax breaks on top of that. So don't be shocked.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Hey, that's, money makes money.
Mm-hmm.
There's another super chat.
Yes, from SB Gorilla. Says, I believe the Pistons will get Mitch 17 per. You said it. Mitch, Stewart, Bay, Ivy, and Cade. That looks great. Nice young team. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, if we do lose Mitch, though, I'm seeing if we can try to hold out for some kind of sign and trade. Let's see if we get something for him, because that's what I don't want, to lose Mitch and get nothing in return.
Yeah,
it's one thing with Frank, because Frank, you still would have liked to get something from Frank, but Frank wasn't showing anything out there on the court. We actually put development and time into making Mitch into the player he is today. So I would like to say, if he's going to leave, let's make sure we get something in return. It might be a little second round pick, but something's better than nothing.
I think 17 is a lot of money.
Yeah, 17 is a lot. 17's up there. That's quick Capella money.
But if that becomes the number, then Mitch is
out of here.
Yeah, because he's not worth that kind of money. When you look at it, we've already done this exercise.
Now he's not, but you can look at Mitch and you can see a world where he could become a $17 million center. Clint Capella doesn't have the most advanced offensive game, and I think he's making more than that. He's making like 18, 19. So, and if Mitch is able to add just one or two moves, he's going to be worth that 17, maybe even more. If he adds a little mid-range, big if. But you can see a team say, I'll overpay by maybe $1 million or $2 million with the hope that this guy will get into the gym and advance his game, because we've seen him go into the gym, get bigger, get stronger, and become more dominant on the offensive glass. So,
but like, for example, let's say they do come in with a number like that. Let's say they offer 3 years for $51 million, which is about what that is. The Knicks can come in and be like, look, we'll give you 5 years at $60 million. You're locked in. Does he take that? 5 years with his injury issues and all that stuff.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me think about it. Because I want to see how much Nurkic is getting paid. Because if Nurkic is still getting paid with his injury history, Mitch might say, hey, I'll live with it. How much is Nurkic getting paid right now?
But Nurkic has an offensive toolbox. But he's out more than Mitch.
Yeah. So Nurse is making about 12 mil. Okay, maybe he might want to lock that up then.
Yeah, see, I mean, that's a nice 12 million. That's a nice salary for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then if things go a certain way, we package Mitch, we trade him. You know, maybe 2 years from now, if he didn't really develop his offensive
Didn't pan
game,
out.
yeah, it wouldn't be. He's still always going to be that great shot blocker, that great rim protector, and that lob threat. That's never going to go away. So it's about what can he add to his offensive arsenal from this year moving forward. But if he stays the way he is right now, 12 million is like where he should be at.
George, I gotta have you and Inf on a stream together and let you guys talk about Mitch. That'll be an interesting show. You could explain to him why Mitch is in dirt.
when he dropped the dirt bomb, that was like
Vincent Mirambeau says, "Don't effing trade Mitch." I'm all for re-signing Mitch, but if we can't
me
get
too.
a deal done,
I don't want him to go. I'm just taking,
at least sign and trade.
Yeah.
See what else we got going on here. Jesse Rodriguez says, let's not forget, next year we can draft out of high school and stash in G League for 1 year, and we got a bunch of picks. Did they actually come to terms on that? I think that was still a little bit up in the air. They still had to decide what they're going to do with the 2023 draft. I know we got a boatload of picks.
Yeah, I haven't heard the final word on that. And is that going to be part of the regular draft, or will there be a separate draft?
Yeah, they mentioned it, and they never really gave us much details on it. I just know we're collecting a whole bunch of draft picks in that season. I mean, that year. No, I think it's going to be part of the draft because we're in the second round. We've got a whole bunch of second round picks to use, so I think it'll be part of the draft.
Okay.
They'll just have them included. They just assume there'll be second round picks because, like Mitch, you won't really have as much information to go off of.
That's good news.
Yeah, that's how we ended up getting Mitch. You know.
Hey, if you guys didn't watch, I'm still hoping we luck out in the lottery and we get the number 1 pick. Watch Chet Holmgren last night. Was insane how he impacted that game. The guy is just, he is
George,
so
you
unique.
Keep going crazy over somebody we're not gonna get.
He's
worry
so
about how
unique.
we're gonna guard him, not if we're gonna draft him.
Yeah.
That's what I do. All the elite talent, I worry about how we're gonna.
Oh, that would be a nice battle.
Who on our team can beat him up?
See Chet and Mitch.
Yeah,
that'd be an interesting battle.
Because we're not gonna get that high in the draft. I mean, look, we're winning.
I don't think
now.
Chet will be a center in the first couple of years in the NBA. I think he'll be a 4. He'll be a 4, and then as he gets a little bigger,
and when he puts on weight,
yeah, just exciting. And Jabari Smith, just exciting. Jaden Ivey, man,
it'll be an interesting draft for sure.
Yeah, and actually,
Brahim says, I can see a sign and trade for Mitch and Ayton. It makes sense for both teams. Would you be open to an Ayton sign and trade?
I would be, if the price. I would be. I think obviously Mitch owned him in the last game, but it's hard to deny what kind of player Ayton is overall. He's not worth a max contract. It's just like, would I rather have Ayton at 21 million or Mitch at 17
15
million or 15 million?
I might if Mitch is gonna hit 17 mil, I might explore Ayton a little bit more.
See, that's what
21. Yeah,
that's when I start thinking about. But if Mitch is down 15 and below, that 6 million is a big difference. You can do some things with that 6 million.
Yeah.
So then maybe you do go with a Mitch, and you use that 6 million for another quality wing, or the point guard situation we have to get resolved no matter what. But you know what I mean? So it just depends on where the numbers lie, where they fall. But I wouldn't be totally against it, man. Hey, shout out to the chat.
Jaden Ivey says Robinson and Quick for Ayton. Not if you have to do a sign and trade. I think that's a little too much. That means Ayton doesn't want to go back to Phoenix. So I don't want to include Quick in the deal.
I think we could put something else instead of Quick in there.
Yeah, that would be the only change. We can do Robinson and Ayton, but if they need an additional piece, maybe I don't include Quick.
Yeah.
Let's see. Thank you, Lex. He says hashtag new if you're new, and don't forget to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to like, comment, subscribe to both channels, share, and set the notifications to all. Yep. George's channel is in the title. You just have to hit the hyperlink and you can subscribe there. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I'll be live Sunday at 8 p.m. No, I'm sorry. There's a game at 7:30. So we had to move things forward. I think we'll be live at 6.
Oh, we're going to do that again?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So, George, you want to say anything before we go? I think the game's already on.
It hasn't started quite yet, but it will
No?
soon. I mean, this is a game that we should definitely win.
Yeah, they're struggling. I had created all these slides, but because the computer started having issues, I couldn't put it up. But they were 2-8 heading into this game. And, they've been struggling themselves. They traded for KP. They're ahead of us, I believe, right? Still in the playing race.
They are. That shows how bad we've been.
Exactly.
We're behind these Wizards. No Beal.
Nope, no Beal. They got Rui back. They got Avdija. There's another young player on their team as well.
They in their last 10 games, they're letting opponents score 122 points. I think we could win this game.
Yeah, I think so too. But then again, there's people in the camp that don't want us winning games. If you want a guy like Chet, us winning this game tonight is putting us in the opposite direction.
Like you and I keep saying, as long as we win because it's guys like RJ, IQ, Deuce, Mitch, Sims, Grimes, we're going to get back today.
Yes.
If they're getting
oh wow,
featured,
we didn't even get to that.
Yeah,
I got kicked out and it completely threw everything off.
Yeah. So I mean, and it's because of guys that are going to be here next year that are important, like Fournier. Fournier's having a good game. Yes. Then if we win, we win. I mean, we've already gone through the numbers. For us to really make for the tank to be meaningful, we'd have to get down to what was it, 7th?
7th or 6th.
Yeah. I think 7th was the beginning where it started looking appealing. 6th, it definitely gets nice. And it's going to be hard to fall that far.
Especially with other teams trying to do their little, soft tank as well.
Exactly. And we already went. Now we are going into the softer part. We already went through that terrible stretch. The bad stretch, and we handled it, perfectly.
Admirably, right? Quote unquote.
3-17 we went during that stretch. So if that's not tanking enough for you, All right, I think the game is about to start.
Yeah. Also, want to give a shout out to SB Gorilla again. He says 17 ain't a lot when your good rookies are 2 to 3 years out from extension and new TV deal for 25. Yeah, so Mitch will be locked in at the 17, and that probably wouldn't be too much of a hassle, especially if he's healthy and producing. So that is something you should have to take into consideration. But if I'm gonna pay Mitch 17 and I have the option to pay 8 and 21, then I might go that 21 route.
Right. That's where it starts getting interesting. Jesse. Yeah. Hey, if you saw what the weather was, I know you guys had nice weather today in New York, but it was just glorious here today.
Nice. You said it was 78? Was the high?
78, and the skirts were about 10 inches long.
Yes, George said it's almost sundress season.
Yeah. Fournier has 2 3-pointers already.
Nice. So yeah, let's go check out the game. I know, George, you have to start preparing from your recap.
Yeah.
Gotta take all your notes. Thank you guys for tuning in, especially with the technical difficulties. We appreciate it. We still held 100 strong for majority of the stream, so I appreciate you guys, standing or sitting around and staying through technical difficulties. And also, George, thank you for holding it down as well with me out of commission for about 10-15 minutes. So thank you very much.
Oh, it's
Tricky
40
Nicky says
degrees.
it's 40 in Michigan.
40's cold.
Yeah, 40 is nippy.
Oof.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is another edition of the Knicks Syndicate pregame show. So thank you guys. And George, catch you next time.
Salute to the chat.
Facts.